Okay, welcome back, and let's go ahead and start working on a basement. So the basement's going to be below level 1, but right now we don't actually have anything that's below level 1, and that's kind of a problem. To fix that, what we're going to do is head over to one of our elevation views. It doesn't matter which one, we just need to see our different elevations. And we're going to add an elevation by going to the level button over here, clicking on that, and then drawing an elevation just by clicking on one end and dragging it over to the other. Click over there. I'm going to press escape twice and zoom in over to the number. This is our level 3, but it's going to be our basement, so I'm going to rename it as such. I'll call it basement. And it's asking if I want to update it in our other views as well. I'm going to press yes, and now we have a basement for our floor plans as well as one for our ceiling plans. Now in the US, typical basements are around 8 feet. So we are going to adjust this to 8 feet, although if you wanted to leave it around that number, that is fine. Crawl spaces are around 4 feet or so. So once the basement has been set, all we need to do is start designing it. And if I headed to the basement right now in the floor plans area, you're going to notice that there is nothing there. And that's once again a problem, because how I can start drawing a basement, but it's not going to match up with my house. So what we're going to do is back in the elevations tab, I'm just going to go to each elevation. I'm going to do kind of what we did when we were lowering the walls. I'm going to select the wall and then grab the downward arrow and drag it down to my basement level. And now when I check the floor plans, I would notice, whoops, the basement, I would notice that that wall is now in place. So if I go to all 4 of my walls, or whatever amount of walls you have, we're just going to drag these down, and these are going to be temporary walls for us. We are going to adjust them accordingly, because we wouldn't essentially build brick 8 feet into the ground or whatever material you are building in. And there we go. If I head over to my basement right now, I have my basement. We can go ahead and add a floor just like we did for the primary levels. Something like that. That's a little more rough than I'm used to. And I'm going to switch the floor to, let's say, a concrete floor. Yeah, a concrete floor. But it's up to you. This is in the lower levels, so the finish usually isn't as nice as the floors above it. Let's go ahead and take a look in our 3D view. And here is our floor right now. There is our brick, and it's kind of seeping a little farther than I'd like. So we're going to go ahead and adjust that. I'm going to kind of use this door as reference. And actually I need to see the floor a little better to do this just right. So I'm going to switch into hidden line mode. Let's go wireframe. There we go. And I'm going to look straight at my house. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut this wall in half so that we can convert this brick layer here to the concrete that we're going to be pouring in to essentially solidify our foundation. This basement now is going to be part of our foundation, and to slice a wall, what we're going to have to do is first click on the wall and then use one of the split options over here. So here's split element. I want you to click on that. I kind of want you to hover near the edge of the wall, and if you do it just right, you're going to notice a line. It's a little hard to see, but you're going to notice a line going horizontally across the wall, like so. I'm going to go up to, where roughly my floor is. So that's about 610. I think I'm going to, let's go at 7 feet. And I'm going to cut my wall right over there. I'm going to flip my screen, look over here, do the same thing, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 7 feet, cut my wall, go to the other side. I'm just using my dimensions as a reference. And I just have one more side to cut. Okay, so I cut all 4 of my walls. Let's go ahead and see if I was successful. And it looks like I was, as I'm able to select the walls now. Yes. And I'm going to turn it around. And what I'm doing is I'm holding down Control while I'm clicking on all the walls, because I just want to select those 4 walls. I'm going to switch it back to realistic so you can kind of see that I selected all 4 walls of my basement, and we are going to convert them from an outside wall to something a little more concrete related. So there we go. We have a concrete foundation wall over here, 12 inches. I'm going to click on that. And just like that, when I click away, we now have a foundation wall in our house. So that's looking pretty nice. Let's go ahead and do a couple more finishing touches to this foundation. We're going to add a continuous strip foundation across our house, and that's just going to essentially keep it from lifting up, prevent the house from cracking. If you know what a frost line is, it's essentially to prevent our house from damaging itself when it gets cold. And a good image of this could be something like this, where if you look over here, we have that footing at the bottom of our concrete foundation, and that is keeping our house from raising above the ground. And this is the floor of our basement. That would be the first level. So moving that back, let's go ahead and add that foundation. I'm going to head over to the Structure tab now. And over here, these are our foundation types. Depending on the project you're working on, you can have one of the 3. In more commercial uses, we typically focus on a mix between a wall and an isolated foundation. If it's closer to the ground, kind of like a shed or something, we'll probably have something around a slab foundation, or we could use this as a floor as well for our basement. But for this, we're just going to use the wall type continuous strip foundation. So I clicked on that, and then all I need to do is click on my walls, and it will automatically apply a default foundation to the bottom floor. And if I want, just like everything else, I can edit it. I can click on it. I can edit the size, the width, so on and so forth. But the default gives you the general idea of it, so I usually leave it as that, and that is a general foundation for our house. So there we go. We've designed the area for our basement. We can decorate it just the same. We can set up plumbing just the same. So hopefully that has helped you with the basement. So that's going to conclude this video. In the next video, we are going to talk about adding an electrical plan to our home. So until then, I'll see you later. Peace.